welcome back to another episode of the CrossFit Harrow podcast. We are episode 74, and today we've got Simran with us. Simran, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
First question that goes out to everyone is why CrossFit Harrow? What brought you to CrossFit Harrow?
So the journey here wasn't really amazing because it was very impulsive for me.
Okay.
Because I was on Insta one day and then I saw a video of a woman doing weightlifting like techniques. Was
this one of CrossFit Harrow's adverts or just?
No, just in general.
Okay.
Because I recently got into fitness more, and then I saw the caption and she was like doing CrossFit, and I was like, oh, okay, I want to try that. So I searched up the nearest CrossFit gym on Google, and CrossFit Harrow came up. So I was like, I didn't tell anyone as well, not my mom, no one, and I just came.
Just put your head down and went. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So obviously before that, never done CrossFit, but you are big into martial arts.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
So martial arts started back when I was in year 8. So
Okay.
when I was 13 years old, basically.
Okay.
There was a after school club, kickboxing.
Yeah.
And me and my friends joined that, and we absolutely loved it. We did mess around, but it was part of the fun. And then I was like, okay, this is something I really, really enjoy. And then come year 10, 11, I got into Tae Kwando as well.
Okay.
So
you're doing kickboxing and then Taekwondo?
Taekwondo, yeah. So I did Taekwondo for a bit, but then my GCSEs came, so I was like, okay, I need to focus on my studies. But then I was like, then when I got into gym, so when I started going gym, there was a personal trainer there who did kickboxing.
Okay,
like,
so you tied those two together. Yeah.
So I was like, this is my chance to get back. So I told my best friend, I was like, come on, let's do it. And then we asked them, and then I just done it from then on. And then lockdown came, everything closed. But then I knew a friend who used to come to my kickboxing. She found another kickboxing gym.
Okay.
So in Wembley. So I was like, I really want to do it because I was like, I'm missing the pads and the gloves.
Yeah.
And then we would practice in the park actually, because she was like, the grading's coming up, so you need to be ready when you join in. So we would do that. Then when I joined, I think that's it. Yeah.
So talk to us about, because I don't know too much about the grading system.
Yeah.
So this is for Taekwondo. How does the grading system work? So this is like belts, almost similar to karate. Is that right?
Yeah. So Taekwondo also has belts, and kickboxing also has belts.
Okay.
So Taekwondo, the belts are a bit different. So they go like, I don't remember the perfect order. So it's white belt, which is same for kickboxing as well. Then it goes yellow tag, yellow belt, green tag, and stuff. And then kickboxing, it's white, yellow, orange, and then green, and then purple, and then you work your way.
What would those colours represent? Does that mean that you're a certain skill level, certain standard?
Yeah, skill level higher basically. So like you practice a lot more different types of combos and a lot more different types of techniques, and potentially you're getting ready to fight in a ring. Okay. So with kickboxing, the purple belts, that's what they tend to do. Their grading is sparring. So you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you have to spar with each other with whatever techniques you remember. So it's like you're in a normal fight, and try essentially get the most points out of it, and then whoever gets the most points.
Fine. So like in that training environment, would you have different people of different colour belts with each other, like training?
Yeah, training is like mixture.
So everyone's involved in the training.
Involved, yeah.
But within the training, would they do different types of training, or this is what not the workout, but this is what the training schedule is today? Yeah. Everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah, so exactly like that. So everyone's doing the same thing.
Okay.
I think only for the higher belts, like there'll
be a skill piece.
Yeah. Theirs will be just a teeny bit different, and they will get told that basically.
Fine. Yeah. There's a lot of my understanding is there's a lot of discipline taught in martial arts. Is that right?
Yeah, that is true. Like you have to be, first of all, like on time, and you have to have like
on time's a good one, because that seems to be an ongoing issue with a lot of people that turn up for workout. But what happens if you're not there on time?
I mean, thankfully, they don't give any punishments as that.
Because some places do, right?
Some places do, yes. They'll make you do an extra lap around, or like burpees, or which I hate, but or like something that's really painful and bad. But thank God I haven't been, like, they don't do that. Otherwise, I'd be in pain most of the time.
So what other, because I would imagine that respect is quite a big bit of discipline that they kind of install in people.
Yeah. So when it comes to the grading, they actually want you to do yes sir or yes ma'am after every move you do, and like you have to bow at the end of each lesson just to show a sign of respect.
And this is in Taekwondo?
Kickboxing and Taekwondo.
Okay.
So both.
Fine.
Both martial arts, yeah.
Fine. Is there any other forms of martial arts that like you're looking to get into, or you found you're kind of you're happy?
So kickboxing is the main one that I really, really enjoy, and Taekwondo. But I have recently grown an interest into Muay Thai as well.
Okay. That has become quite popular over the last few years.
Yeah, it has. All are similar, but they have very different techniques as well. So with kicks and like Taekwondo is not really punching, whereas kickboxing is. And like Muay Thai, they have different like kicking techniques. Yeah.
There's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It's a lot to take in.
But people like invest a lot of their time into this, and because I've even like friends from school or just people that I've met, network and stuff, they would have gone to like, let's say Thailand. They would have done like they might have been there on holiday.
Yeah.
But then they see it. They get into like some sort of camp, like a 6-week camp or 2-week camp, and then they like grow this love for mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And then they start, then there's like I've seen somewhere like they'll start doing fights against people abroad, like they'll be in the ring and stuff. So it can be quite, you can invest quite a lot of time into it.
Yeah, and you can go into it like professionally as well.
Yeah, people get hooked.
If you get hooked, exactly.
So this all stemmed from that after school club, really?
Yeah, literally.
And you've kept it going since.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so a little bit more about you, student.
Yeah.
What are you studying?
So I've actually recently graduated.
Okay, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Biomedical Sciences, I studied.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that are going to go like this.
Straight over your head. I'm
going to pretend.
I'll give you cues.
So Biomedical Science.
Sciences.
What is that?
So that's basically a degree consisting of research.
Okay.
And it studies the human anatomy as well as like what you can do behind the scenes to help out the human anatomy. So like the body could be to do with drugs, could be to do with like, let's say the biochemistry of things. It's mainly working in a lab basically.
Okay.
But because you have a really good foundation knowledge of the anatomy and everything that goes around it.
It's quite fascinating.
It is, yeah, it's very fascinating. You can go on to do clinical aspects as in like working with patients as well. So you can go on to study medicine.
And that would be researching on them and doing trials?
No, actually becoming a doctor.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So is that a route that you want to take?
No, I want to stay behind the scenes. I want to do the actual research side. So like, I found an interest in pharmacy.
Okay.
So like the drugs.
Yeah. Well, it's quite, it's fascinating and amazing in itself that like you can put whatever they are, ingredients or chemicals, whatever it is that you put together that can help
create something that just cures something. Yeah. Or maybe helps it, And especially with COVID, research, I realized is a very big aspect of like the world and how the world works basically, especially now because we're in a pandemic, and the people that need it the most are basically doctors, nurses, and even people like researchers who made the vaccines. So
when because research is a little bit more like trial and error really, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
And there's a lot that people would get wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then there's going to be that moment where it's like, oh, I've spent like 2 years on this.
Maybe even more.
Even more. Yeah. Even more.
So it is kind of like you're gonna have to dedicate your life to it.
Really? Is it that? Okay.
Kind of like that. But then you can always switch.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you're not feeling it, or if you feel like you're not getting something out of it, then you can always.
So career-wise, is looking to go to the pharmaceutical side.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned earlier before we came on about doing a master's. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. So I hopefully will start a master's in clinical drug development. Okay. In September.
And what does that entail?
That's like talking about researching about drug discovery, therapeutics. So like what drugs will help with what kind of diseases, pharmacology. So studying the biochemistry of the drug and how it works. So all kind of.
And once you get this research, what do you do with it? Like, where does it go?
Yeah. So once potentially you're trying to get it into clinical trials.
Okay. So you'll say, we've come up with something, we found something, we need to run it on 100 people.
Yeah. So people is like later on in the stage. So first it starts off with cells and tissues. If it works on that, then like maybe animals, and then we get human volunteers. There probably still is, but I think on the radio and stuff, there used to be campaigns of like, you put yourself forward. I think there was some for COVID actually. There's still some here on the radio that if you have a certain disease, then you can put yourself forward. Yeah, or like a certain age bracket. Yeah. Then but they'll also, I think Norfolk Park might have been doing it a while ago. Yeah. There was, I think, I could be completely making this up, but there was a trial where it turned someone into, he started developing elephant, or turning into an elephant. If you Google him, it's called the Elephant Man. Oh, I think I've heard and I think that might have actually, I've read somewhere that might have stemmed from Norfolk Park. It's mad that. Oh, wow. I don't know what drugs or trial, whatever it is. Yeah. But obviously at times things can go wrong, right? Yeah. So you volunteering you're doing it at your own risk. I mean, you can get paid a bit of sum for it. So people do like, okay, let's just do it. Like a compensate, Yeah, compensation. But if anything goes wrong, you've technically signed yourself for this. So you kind of... So your degree was 3 years? 3 years. Yeah. And then master's is going to be another 1 year. Yeah. Okay. So has I suppose you spent quite a bit of your last year through the whole COVID situation. Pandemic, yeah. And how did that affect your learning, do you feel? So learning wise, I think it did affect it, not massively, just a little bit, because it wasn't the same thing as going into a lecture hall. Or a lab, I guess. Or a lab, exactly, yeah. You lost probably maybe a little bit of experience. You'll gain it at some stage, but lost the practice. Yeah. So, but I feel like it was okay in the sense that the uni did really try to make it like half maybe. So half of the times you come in, and then half, like they did really try and incorporate coming in and stuff. Yeah, because it's something that you have to be. Yeah, and that's the experience. Yeah, how are you going to get the university experience, like? Of course. Yeah. So your stuff obviously went half online, and where you can, you went to a lab. Yeah. And balancing through the last 4 years, I guess, of like training and stuff, because as a full-time student, I think some students have like a really heavy timetable and some don't. Yeah, that's true. And they can manage other bits and pieces. Yeah. But training's become a big part of your life. It really has, yeah. And has that always, I mean, I know that you obviously kickboxed when you're younger, but has that been the last few years or recently? Actually very recently. Okay. So I think first year of uni, I was not active at all whatsoever. Beginning, like when I finished A-levels and I started uni, I was very, very lazy. Okay. I did not do anything. What? Is that not most students in their first year though, right? No, some people actually try and go out their way. I was just lazy. But I did do horse riding in first year. Oh, wow. Yeah. So how did you find that, or get into that through the uni? Through the uni. I mean, I've always loved animals. Horses were one of them. I used to watch horse shows when I was little. So I was like, okay, that looks fun. And it really, really was. Yeah. I would do it again if I can, if I find any place. Yeah, it's something I'd actually like to do. Yeah. It's quite like exhilarating, But so that was the only like sport, if you want to call it, like that I used to do. Activity, exactly, yeah. And I used to be so proud of myself. But at least you're doing something. Yeah, exactly. But I think, in first year as well, I went through like health issues in the sense that I was borderline with PCOS, so Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. Yeah. I was getting like acne. I was gaining weight. Did you go to the doctors? Yeah. So I had although they did not find cysts. My hormone levels were up and down. Yeah. And the doctor did say to me that when you are in that bracket, it is much more harder for you to lose weight, and you need to like keep balance, like a healthy balance, otherwise it can get worse and lead to other complications. I've experienced working with others that have suffered the same. Yeah, so it's quite fascinating as well, because in my experience, the changes that we made to these people's lifestyle actually removed the problem. That's the thing. That's the miracles of fitness.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And there was no medicine.
Yeah.
There was no medicine.
There is no medicine. Yeah. You just kind of have to change your lifestyle in that sense. So when they told me that, that kind of hit me. I was like, oh wow, why did I come? Like.
And up until that point, did you not know?
No, I mean, in A levels, I was very, very stressed. I remember that's when my mental health actually just went downhill from there. I remember, and then my mum was concerned as well. She was like, okay, what's happening with you? You need to like go check yourself out. So when we went to doctors and they told us that, and he was like, yeah, you should lose a bit of weight. That's when I started going gym.
Okay.
So I was like, let me try put some.
Because that can be quite a, I mean, obviously I don't know how that was worded to you.
Yeah.
But hearing that can be quite hard to take.
Yeah, I mean,
especially as a female. Well, either male or female, it can be quite hard to take.
No, 100%. Like, I mean, I was only 18 or 19 at the time, so I'm still young, but I was younger then. And that was like, oh wow, I have my whole life ahead of me, but I've got this like obstacle right now, you know? God knows what's gonna happen to me in the future. That's how I'm thinking. But I was like, no, I need to like put some effort in, like change for the better. And plus, because it wasn't helping my mental health either, like I was depressed at the time, I was like, okay, Simran, you need to do something about it. So me and my friend, actually, we started joining gym together. And then first, it was really hard for her to motivate me to come. She'd be calling me like, come, and I was like, oh, I don't want to. Or like, I'm sleeping, or something. Like, I was trying to make excuses. But once we started, and we used to have fun in the gym and stuff, I was like, okay, this is fun.
Just a bit of a snowball effect.
Yeah, literally. And then I started doing kickboxing in the gym as well as my own thing.
Because had you been doing kickboxing throughout? Well, you said first year uni, obviously horse riding, but has kickboxing always been here and there, or have you taken time away from? Did you take time away from that?
I did take time away from it. So like, so in high school I did Tae Kwando. So, but that was like kickboxing wasn't there in my life in that moment. Yeah. So I still missed it, like, but it was like I just put it at the back of my head. I was like, okay, you know, I can't really do much at the moment.
So the uni kind of lifestyle, I guess, had maybe increased the kind of severity.
Kind of woke up the thing.
Yeah, but also severity of the health issues.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was your kickstart to be like,
that was my kickstart.
Okay, so now I really need to do something about it.
Exactly.
And how easy? I mean, you just kind of touched on it there, but how easy once you got going? Yeah. Was it, or has it been, or hard, or either,
So in the beginning, it was hard. Like, getting into it and then finding the right stuff for it, like, and then I think when you have someone in the beginning with you doing it, it helps a lot because you can motivate each other with.
There's pros and cons, aren't there? Because obviously, if, like you said before, if you weren't feeling up to it, would that mean that your friend went, she might not go? And if you wanted to go and she didn't, would you still go?
Would I still go? Exactly. I mean, that's the pros and cons for it. Exactly. But I think because we were on the same journey together, because our goals were kind of the same, we were like, okay, come on, we need to do this. And then when we started doing it and everything, like, we really, really did enjoy it. We were like the gym girls in our like friendship group. Yeah.
But it's having that accountability of a person.
And we were actually called the kickboxing girls.
The kickboxing girls.
Like, literally, like, it was just like, oh, so any friends with me, like, how's your kickboxing going? I've heard you have like nice kicks or whatever, like, you know, like joking around and stuff. Yeah. But then lockdown came over, and then that messed up everything. But
with that, obviously, and the news of the doctor and stuff. What, apart from going to the gym and starting that, what else did you change your lifestyle to help aid progression or improve the health?
Right. So fitness was the main thing.
Yeah.
I might have tried, I don't really remember, but I think I might have tried also changing my diet a little as well. My mum definitely, she was like, okay, you need to eat more healthy, I guess. And like healthy in the sense like a balanced diet, like vegan thing. But mainly it was fitness that really, really did help.
Yeah, I think that for a lot of people, introducing fitness into something like that is probably the easiest choice to make.
100%,
and then obviously comes the nutrition part, which is a massive influence on how to overcome polycystic ovaries.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you can nail that, you should hopefully have it all like pain-free and everything else and stuff like that, and shouldn't affect the body. So it's just interesting to see what other changes you make, but also sleep's important to that.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all things that we all know too.
Yeah, exactly. These are like normal stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like worse in the sense when you have something like that kind of issue. But I mean, sleep, I still struggle with. I'm not gonna lie, I still struggle with that.
But I think it must be a sleep debt, because I struggle too with sleep and stuff. And I think it's just like where things have gone out of sync over the years of like really, really late nights, super early starts, and then in not getting up at the same time every day. Like that does affect how you, how whether you're productive or not.
That's
and how
true.
you feel.
That is very true. Like recently, well, actually, just like, you know, the lockdown, like this time.
The last one, yeah.
Yeah, the last one. My sleep pattern was really bad. Like I'd be sleeping at 4 a.m. and waking up at like 3 p.m. or something. And that would really make me feel lazy throughout the day.
Wow.
I was like, I need to...
You'd missed half a day.
Exactly. I missed half a day, exactly. And I was like, and I didn't have no motivation to do anything whatsoever.
I think we've said in it, like people have experienced in similar things during the previous podcast that being in that scenario didn't give people a sense of purpose, and especially like for those who are at work, as in working full time, then that was their sense of purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
But for those who are students and like maybe your coursework or exams weren't till like a few months time, were you inspired to go to a lecture over a computer? Probably not.
No, exactly. That's the thing.
So you're not all completely at fault for that, but I guess hopefully we don't go back into that, and with no more 3 a.m.s and 4 in the afternoon.
Hopefully not, yeah.
One thing I want to bring up about the kind of anatomy side of, in terms of career-wise, I find it fascinating that we're all chemically made up so different, right? So like where you said before about experiment with drugs, is there, this might be something you might be able to answer in a few years' time, but with us being all chemically made up differently, I don't know, I guess how do they put these things together to work for X amount of people? Like how do they put these medicines together?
Right. You really tested me.
Yes, I mean, it's just curious.
No. It's a really valid question, I get you. I guess they do make...
From what you know now, obviously.
Yeah, from what I know now. Like chemically, we are very similar, like we are different
but similar.
Okay, so they do get like a general, like the anatomy that the general anatomy that they know, they work with that.
But see, doesn't, with like, obviously evolution and stuff, and like doesn't that just change?
But that's when you know when you do the trials, that's when you figure out, okay, it doesn't suit that person with that condition or that, so that's when you do the trials,
like blood type,
exactly. With when it's on like a thesis paper and stuff, it's just in theory, and if it's a good theory, they will actually do research on it, and then when you come into trials, that's when you exactly know what's what. Yeah, it's
hard to get head round. As I said before, it's a lot of trial and error. Okay, so you've got down that you obviously loving fitness but being a foodie. What does that mean?
Did I put that there?
This is what you've written down.
Basically, that means that I love food.
Okay.
And like all sorts of food. And I think when I was at my heaviest, that was hard because like when I was trying to lose weight and stuff, because it was really hard to stop myself from binging and like going on these like every night takeaways and stuff.
Well, everything's at the touch of a button.
Exactly now, which is much more easier.
And for your age group too, it's more more
accessible,
And also that's kind of what you've been taught into, right?
Yeah, exactly. And every event that we would do, like social event or anything, time we would go out, right, we need to get some food, like. It's like we have to incorporate that, otherwise it feels empty.
And where are you originally from, like family-wise?
Pakistan.
Okay, so food is
a big part of that. Like you would, if you go back there, you would not see a street without a food vendor or anything.
Really?
Every corner there's a food. Like
what's the dish? So
like I don't actually know the national dish of Pakistan, but like I know there's like really oily food like biryani and curries and naan, like butter naan, and basically really fatty food, and it's really delicious.
Big portions.
Portions, exactly. Like that's the thing. If you go to Pakistan or like any Asian household, they will never let you leave the house without getting a bit fat, basically.
So would you eat food out? Would you eat the same food out?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like me and my family go out, we eat the same type of food, or.
But would you go for would you have a takeaway of the same dishes?
Same dishes, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right, okay.
If my mom's not bothered to cook, or like, we're feeling it, like somewhere there's a nice like biryani or something, we're like, yeah, let's just order that.
Yeah, I wonder because sometimes like obviously pasta and spaghetti and pizzas and all that being generally what I grew up on.
Yeah.
Is I tend not to go out so much for Italian food, but occasionally I will.
Yeah.
So I tend to have like more Turkish food. I like obviously meat and like salads, vegetables,
yeah.
and I tend to go for that. So I was just curious to see if you opted for different foods from different cultures.
Oh
and stuff.
I mean, I'm very open to different foods. Like I've recently got a growth in like to Korean cuisines and Japanese. Mostly because I do like K-dramas and like anime, so I'm very into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would love to say that I know much about anime, but I don't.
You have me, I'll educate you.
I had a friend from school who used to do the drawings.
Oh, the anime.
Yeah, they're amazing.
It's so good. It's like a big part of my life.
So what? Talk us through what it is. I don't actually know exactly what it is as such.
What are you asking about? Animes?
Yeah.
Right. So they're like a Japanese animation.
Okay.
And they like different. So they're actually a manga. They're based on mangas, which are comics basically.
Okay.
And then they get turned into animations and stuff.
Right.
And they're so many different types of genres.
And are these all drawings? And they
Yeah.
make it basically into an anime?
And they're so good and so interesting.
Is there like a storyline, like obviously main characters and stuff, I'd imagine?
Yeah, the main characters are like the main, like, like attraction. That's what they get. That's what if you see the main character and you like that and you're like, oh, okay, I want to go more into that anime. Yeah. And then you start watching and you binge it.
Is it like one show? Is there spin-offs? Is it?
Oh no, there's 100 like for bigger shows. So for example, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. There's so many spin-off like episodes or like movies.
So it's almost like you'd have like a Netflix version, but you could have loads and thousands of different animes to choose from.
Yeah, exactly. So a recent one actually, like Demon Slayer. I don't know if anyone would know that, but
maybe.
That's an anime, and they came out with a movie, and that movie has been so popular around the whole world that I think they've got millions in from that.
Wow.
Like it's very big.
How would someone come across anime?
Mainly it's the anime people like who watch it. You won't meet any person who watches anime, they won't try and convert you. Like you need to, I will literally give you a whole list. I've actually got one of my students into it. I was like, we were talking about it, me and my students, and she had no idea. And then when we started talking about it, we gave her a whole list of animes to watch, and you're like, you need to.
Are they like hour shows?
No, they're only like half an hour, 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, and career-wise, obviously we know education-wise, but part-time job we were speaking about earlier.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So currently, I work as a tutor.
Okay.
So part-time teacher.
Nice.
And I teach kids from like Key Stage 1 to GCSEs.
Okay.
Maths, English and Science.
Maths, English and Science?
And Science, yeah.
Age group you said up until 16?
16, yeah.
And this is, how would they get in contact with you? You on a tutoring website?
So I started that, but then I found it easier to do it with a company.
Okay.
So I work at a tuition centre.
Fine.
And which is much easier because they'll have the resources and everything. I'll just have to go in.
And this is post-COVID, or were you doing that before?
I did it before as well. So back in high school, I would always mentor, like helping kids with their homework and stuff. And
was that for younger?
Yeah. So I would be, for example, if I was in year 10, I would help the year 7s and 8s and stuff with their maths and not English, but science. And then as I was like, okay, I needed a part-time job when I was in sixth form, because at that time it was like you need to save money and stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's important as well to get out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it grows you as a person. Like you become more independent. And then you learn about finances and how to manage that, because I'm still bad at that, but I'm still learning, you know?
I think we always are.
Yeah. And then, so in sixth form, I got a part-time job in tutoring as well, and then I just worked from there, yeah. So
have you seen any difference in before the whole COVID thing to after, in terms of like kids struggling with things? Is there more problem? Let's say problem's probably not the right word, but are there more issues now with learning in your the environment that you're in?
The thing is with the kids, they're very stressed, because COVID was not nice to them in the sense that it was very uncertain about their futures and stuff. And even then, like, most of the kids, I feel like, because they're not getting the same type of learning at home, I feel like they've missed out on quite a lot. And that's not their fault, I guess. Cause
a lot of teachers have said that, that we have on.
Yeah.
And the hard thing, I guess, is kids generally won't tell you that they're stressed either.
That's the thing.
So trying to diagnose that.
And you can, when you're seeing them do the work and you can see that they're not struggling they're struggling on the basics, you're like, oh, okay.
There's a problem.
There is a problem. And especially with, like, for example, if they're in year 10 and 11, they've got GCSEs coming up, that's when I have to be like, okay, I need to see how I need to tackle this, because they need to know the basics before they can move on to it.
Would you work one-to-one, or would you work in groups?
So sometimes I would work one-to-one, but at the moment it's mainly group work. And each student does different work. So I have to cater to them individually in the 2-hour slot that we have. Yeah.
Okay. So you'll have a student come in, obviously the work will provide this, but they might be falling behind in science.
Yeah.
And you'll go through their, essentially
whatever
their week.
we need to go through with them, exactly.
So you'll know their curriculum and stuff.
Yeah. So with the younger years, they have their books. So we, in our tuition center, we actually have books prepared for them. So they'll just continue on with that. If they need help, I'll help them. But with the GCSE lots, I tend to make sure that we go over some topics, or like use the CGP books, which are really good, by the way.
Yeah, I think they were around when I was at school.
Yeah, they're amazing, They help you get through GCSEs, A-levels.
All the answers are in them.
Yeah,
for the exam.
Yeah. And if you use them right, you can literally ace your exams.
Yeah. I didn't use them right.
You can still use them.
I think I might have to.
Literally.
And then have you seen more kids coming through now? Is there like...
Yeah. So now that everything's opening up, we're seeing a lot more surge in students coming in now, especially not like, because now it's summer, but September time, I know for a fact, like, everyone will be back and ready.
Yeah.
Because, and parents are the main thing.
Well, that was going to be my next question, actually. Yeah. Do you find that, obviously parents will say that their kid needs help in certain areas.
Yeah.
But do you ever get that the child will say, I need help? Because obviously they don't necessarily say that they're stressed. They might not give that off, but I think for anyone it's quite hard to say, I need help.
I need help, 100%. Yeah.
And especially as a kid, they might not be able to get that
express
out.
That.
Express that.
Yeah. So there are kids that are confident enough to say, Miss, I need help in this. Like, I'm so stuck and stuff. So I'll help them. But then with others, like we've said, that we need to diagnose them, kind of like see if they're struggling. They won't necessarily say it. They'll just sit there and wait for me.
Yeah.
And then I will notice and I'll be like, okay, are you stuck? And then I do tend to tell them, like, you need to let me know, otherwise I won't know, But I just want to make it comfortable for them in that environment so that they can ask me for help. So I tend to be like okay with my students, like I have conversations and stuff,
open
conversations. So that's what I mean. Like, we start talking about anime and stuff, but then I'm like, okay, guys, we need to get back on the work.
Well, I guess they buy into you then, don't you? They're then more likely to listen to what you're saying, or that your teaching style. They'll be more open to learning.
Yeah, exactly. Once, I feel like you need to have that kind of relationship with your students, because once you have that, then they trust you.
But it's amazing how many teachers miss that. They don't have that relationship with every single child.
Student,
and I mean, it must be. I can imagine it being quite difficult. Like, teaching's not an easy job.
It's not.
To know everything about that student.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I think, like, maybe like the child that doesn't speak up, or maybe is problematic.
Yeah.
They sometimes get left to one side, but actually they probably need
the most kind
help.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you experienced that? Is there anyone who?
There have been quite a few actually, like where some of them would be like the louder ones and stuff. Some would be the quiet ones. They'd be left to the side. But the good thing about smaller groups, because I know in a teaching environment, like in a classroom, there's 30 students, and I could never do that personally. Like,
it's honestly
it's
so
a very
hard.
like being a tutor myself, I found a whole new respect for teachers. Like, school teachers, primary school teachers. I literally respect
because obviously small groups, like it's same as fitness, right? Very small groups and one-to-ones, you learn a lot more. The minute you start going bigger scale, the information that's getting taught.
And you can get away with stuff as well. Again, bigger groups, like if you didn't do something and stuff, you're like, oh, okay, like, you know, and you won't put in as much effort.
Because you're hiding with amongst others.
But when you're in a smaller group, and the teacher can actually just focus on you and actually catch you out if you didn't do anything.
Do you find that you work with the same child or children for extended period of times?
So there have been students where I've seen them grow up from like year 4 to year 6, or like I've taught their brothers and sisters as well, and I've seen their growth, which has been very interesting.
But it must also be a satisfying feeling that you've taken through that journey, that's extra support.
Exactly.
Comes their grading time, they get the qualification, and it's an achievement obviously for you and achievement for them. Has there ever been times where they haven't succeeded?
Yeah, there have been. So they would come and I would ask, they wouldn't necessarily tell me because obviously students don't really tell teachers the bad grades. And then I'd be like, okay, so how did your test go? And they'd be like, oh, miss, I didn't do that well, stuff. And I'll be like, okay, what did you get? And then first of all, I'll ask for the paper back. I'll be like, if you can, get the paper back and we'll go for it question by question. If not, I'll be like, okay, what is this topic that you're really, really struggling with? And then from then on, I'll try work my way around that. Like going through the topic, getting out some exam questions, and then, because that must be quite hard for a student to take who's got pressure from parents, everywhere. Literally teachers, parents,
to do well. Because some, I mean, I wouldn't say some parents don't care, that's not the right word, but I think the pressure's taken off them. It's like you work to the best of your ability, and school, I've said this in a few podcasts, like school and certain things might not be for them at that stage. They might actually find that they want to learn more when they get older, and they're just kind of going through the system at the moment.
Exactly, yeah, it's actually like that. Some students, you can tell they're just going through it because
you just know that they're at 16, they're not going to pursue a career in education. They're someone who should be thrown into the world of work, whether it's through their own business, working for someone, whatever it might be. And you can tell that, right?
Yeah, some students actually told me, miss, why do I need this? I don't even want to do this when I'm older. Or like, why do I need science? Why do I need maths? Why do I need trigonometry or algebra in life? When am I going to use that?
But actually, there are elements where you'd be like, I wish I knew how to.
I wish, literally, no, that is true. But they'll realize that when they're older. At the moment, sometimes I actually question, when have I ever used algebra in my life? Or like, you know, but I'm just like, guys, like, as much as like I know you won't use this, education is really, really good. It will take you, if not like some further, but it will take you someplace. You get me? Like,
but it's getting that base.
It's getting that base, exactly. You don't have to be the most cleverest person in the room, or like you have to do a PhD or get a doctorate or something. You just need to have this foundation knowledge. And I guess if any student has that, I think that's really good for them in the future.
When you were saying before about like not knowing this and not knowing that, like when am I ever going to use it? It's funny because I wasn't great at school, and doing the matting and the flooring for this, I had to calculate the square footage, meter squared and all that, and I was like, I wish I paid attention to maths. So I was on Google,
YouTube. You should YouTube
and Google, Google, okay, and a couple of last things. You going back to the whole fitness side of things, you said like social media is obviously a big part of like your generation, your age group.
A very big part,
and you said that you've started your own fitness page on that. And that is that for the accountability of like, I've invested into fitness. I not necessarily want to show it to other people, but I want to put this out there because I want to, like, it's for me, but I'm making it a statement.
Yeah, so for me, like the fitness page was because like I wanted to see my growth, like from where I start to where I not finished, but like, you know, go on,
I suppose in my time it would have been, well, I say my time, there's
how old are you?
I'm 31. I don't look it, I look younger, right?
Yeah, you do. 19, I said that before.
19. So for me growing up, it would have been a Kodak photo, which I don't know even if you know what it is.
The clicky.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I used to use that when I was like 5 years old.
Fine. So that would have been like, you do that, you'd go take it to like Boots or whatever, and you'd have that. And that's how you look at your photos. Wow, but I think now, now would be you log it, journal it on Instagram
your, like, camera or like create a folder. And then Instagram is the best way, I guess, because everything is just on one page, whatever you post and stuff. And I guess that was basically like my motivation as well. Like, okay, because Simran, you're seeing your improvements. Let's see what else you can do with that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think my fitness actually, so you know, this lockdown, it was really, really hard for me in the sense that I was spiraling down again. And I was like, I don't want to go into that dark hole again, because I was literally struggling with my mental health so much before. And I was like, okay, once gym's open, you need to get back into it.
Is that how you've combated the mental?
Literally. Gym is like my escape. Like, I go gym, I shut everyone out, I shut the whole, like, my parents out as well, so, you know.
Well, it's your time, it's your hour.
Yeah, it's my time, you know, like, this is where I need to, like, focus on myself. And then literally this April is when I started my fitness journey properly, and I literally fell in love. And, like, especially with weights, like, weightlifting was something I was like, wow, like, I felt so powerful and stuff. And the thing is, with me being an Asian girl from, like, a Pakistani background, girls are told to not do this stuff, you know, even right now. Yeah,
which I think is amazing that you challenge the...
So even now, like the other day I was arguing with my mum on this, because she was like, girls shouldn't do this, and you're going to damage something, and how's that going to affect you?
I guess, like, male or female, there's certain molds that people get put in, you know, especially in the fitness world, you're supposed to look a certain way. Males are supposed to do this, women's supposed to do this, but obviously in culture-wise as well, it's supposed to be, you know, you can't or you can do this.
It's like, why are you learning lifting when you should go and to the kitchen and like
but this is like 2021 like,
and there are still like people who think this way, which really, like, then I get heated, and it's like, girls are not just made for that, you know.
But I also think it's down to like us to educate and have those conversations about it, like, you know, it can be easily, you can easily get frustrated over those things, but at the same time, that's all those people have ever been taught. That's what they they know.
I don't blame them, I guess, because with like culture, it's been like that
for years, years. Like we're talking thousands of years.
I don't think I'm going to change the whole Pakistani culture, like just by myself, you know, but with like the people near me and directly.
But
like,
more and more girls, more and more Asian girls, Pakistani girls. Just in general, females from any background, are doing more weight training and in the gym. More.
Like, I just want to challenge that. Like, I still get some cousins from back home saying like, why are you doing this, you know? I'm like, because I want to be strong. You know?
I would imagine that from your background, education was probably pushed. Was it pushed, or was it a massive thing for you?
Yeah, 100%. Oh my God, I remember my mum, if I did not get a certain grade, I would get beatings. like she would want me to do well, like, obviously. And I guess I did like the discipline my mum gave me, because it made me who I am, you know, discipline. But education is pushed back. Which
is crazy, because just for argument's sake, you could say you might not be great academically, but actually you could be an Olympic champion in weightlifting, swimming, and, you know, you're getting gold, and it's like, what? So I can't do that because I should do that. Yeah,
no. So see, that is a bit of a problem there again. So you could have, like you're saying, a weightlifting gold medal champion. You could be a champion. Then you get compared to your cousin who's like, who's got like a degree. Yeah. And like, okay, so, or even better, you can have like I'm saying, championship, but that girl got married at that age. You know? Like it's
that must be quite a big like pressure point for you.
100%. Like, I've just graduated, and it's just like, still like I'm getting like thing like, what's your next plan? You know. I'm going masters. Well, after that, like, you know, they're trying to push that thing.
Yeah, I guess it is adopting, like, you know, because have you grown up here in England as well?
No.
Okay.
So I actually was born in Pakistan.
Okay.
And I came here back in 2005.
Fine.
And then I've grown up. Yeah.
So it's adopting both cultures as well.
Both cultures, exactly.
Where maybe parents-wise is pretty much they adopted
the culture from
Pakistan.
Yeah, exactly.
And are living with that culture.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think obviously, like, now as you know, as we get older and stuff, that children of children will adopt a very different culture. And I think the world will be a very different place in the next, like, 30 to 40 years.
Hopefully. That's our mission.
Well, yeah.
Literally, because we will literally, when we talk about it, I'm literally thinking to myself, like, no, I don't want the future generations to have that kind of
for racism, for gender equality.
Anything, anything, like, we're all equal, and we can all push our boundaries and become whoever we want.
We've just got all different gifts, talents, and it just needs to be expressed.
And yours might not necessarily be academics. It might be fitness. It might be music, and that needs to be pushed more. You get me?
One of the questions I do. One of the questions I always ask is, like, who's set these expectations? Like, who's put these out there? Because
I don't know.
they
need to find that person. Bring them up because
they are very old traditional views, and there's definitely a place for some of the views. So for example, education to a certain degree. What you're saying before, there's a basic foundation that everyone should be entitled to in terms of learning. Then that's down to the individual then on what process they take next, because you may not be the best person academically, but there is a gift, as we said, there's a gift somewhere else, and you should be able to, with the support of the people around you, express that talent or who you may be.
Like I think I saw this on Instagram once, and it was like a post, and if it was something like, if you give a fish in a bowl a tree to climb.
This is Albert Einstein.
I saw that.
I actually thought of that in my head. I was like, I'm going to get it wrong. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll spend its life thinking it's stupid or something like that.
Or it's a failure.
Yeah, it's failure.
That's exactly what we can use in this situation.
Yeah.
If you tell a kid who's not academically great but who's musically talented or fitness-wise it's amazing, they're going to think they're a failure, in front of their parents or in front of the world's eyes. And that's
but actually, they could be the next Beyonce, Jay-Z, like whoever it could be, and footballer-wise, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I, like, as a tuition teacher, I have to promote education, you get me? But I do say, like, whatever you want to get into, like, you express yourself in that way.
I think it's just having those open views. And I think more of, like, this generation, this age group, in the last kind of 30, I do think they're challenging those norms a lot more than traditionally, like our parents.
Yeah, 100%. And as long as that we have the parents and stuff, we need to make sure that we try. Yeah,
but it's balancing it both. It's having respect of the cultures and the way that we've been brought up,
100%,
but also challenging the norm and the status quo.
Yeah.
What are the plans for you moving forward? What's the next 6 months goals for you, or the next 12 months goals in maybe personal life or career wise, and then we'll go fitness.
I don't even know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. So personally,
because you're doing the masters.
Yeah. So essentially, what I want to do is finish off my masters, like, and hopefully get an idea of what I want to do next. I'm already thinking about going into having a PhD and stuff, because when I did my research aspect of my third year, so my dissertation basically, I really love that aspect, like reading articles and reading journals, scientific journals and stuff.
It seems like that's your thing.
I don't know why, but so.
Okay, and then fitness-wise, what's the goal in the next 6? What do you want out of the next 6-12 months fitness-wise?
Fitness-wise, I would say that, first of all, like, I want to improve everything in the terms of like my endurance and stuff, like with CrossFit and with kickboxing, hopefully move on to a higher belt and stuff. I was actually, I don't know if I'm stepping a bit too far for my thing, but I was actually thinking about going into it professionally.
Okay.
Like lifting.
Right, okay.
Because I do enjoy that aspect of, like, doing gymming and CrossFit and stuff.
And now go more technical side and spend a lot more time developing that skill.
And I actually came across a page on Instagram, and it was a fitness page, and she, that lady, I forgot her name, but like she does lifting, and she's an athlete. Okay. And she's also doing a PhD. So that inspired me. I was like, of course. Why can't I
manage
go into
it?
that? Yeah.
You'll only know by doing it.
By doing it, exactly. So I do want to go further into it. Like,
that's amazing.
I found like a really nice passion for it. Even for CrossFit, I didn't even know what it was, and now I'm just like, whoa, I love it.
You've got the bug. You've got the CrossFit bug.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
It was hard at first. I'm not gonna lie, obviously, because it was something out of my comfort zone completely.
It's a transition for you.
Yeah. Like I was going into it alone, which was even more thing. I was like, oh, I don't know. But then, as the more I did it and stuff, I actually fell in love with it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Simran, we've run out of time for today, but it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us, and guys, we'll see you next week.